Assalamu alaikum. We know when an object changes its position with time, then it is said to be in motion. We come across different types of motion in our day-to-day life. In this video, we'll discuss about them one by one. First, I will start with the linear motion. Linear motion. When an object moves in a straight line, then we call such kind of motion as linear motion. Now, for example, a running of athlete in a straight track and the falling of an object from certain height towards the earth is another example of linear motion. Clear? Then I'll tell you what is the circular motion. Circular motion. When an object moves in a circular path, then we can say that the object is in circular motion. I repeat, when an object moves in a circular path, then it is said to be in circular motion. So, the motion of satellite around the earth is an example of a circular motion. In a similar way, the whirling of a stone tied to a string is another example of circular motion. Next we have rotational motion. Rotational motion, which is otherwise known as rotation. Rotation. What is this rotation or rotational motion? Rotational motion is nothing but spinning of an object. What it is? When an object rotates about an axis, then we call such a motion as rotational motion. Now, we know our earth is spin about its axis because this is the earth. Now it has got two poles, north and south pole. The line that passes through these two poles is nothing but the axis about which the earth rotate in this way. So this spinning of earth is an example of rotational motion. Then the motion of our top is another example of rotational motion. Got it? Then we have a fourth type of motion, that is nothing but vibratory motion. Vibratory motion, otherwise known as vibration. Vibration. When an object moves to and fro about a fixed point, then we call such kind of motion as vibratory motion. Suppose I have an object, it moves to and fro. Now it moves forward and comes backward. Then again it moves forward. Then we call this kind of motion as vibratory motion or vibration. Here, vibratory motion is otherwise known as oscillatory motion or oscillation. Another name of vibratory motion is oscillation. Remember this. The motion of a pendulum. If you disturb a pendulum, it vibrates. It oscillates in this manner. And also swing. Swing vibrates. And not only that, if you pluck the stretched string, then it vibrates. It shows the vibration. Clear? Now, in the guitars, the strings are there. If you pluck them, if you disturb them, they move to and fro. This is an example of vibratory motion. After that, apart from this type of motion, we have a few other motions as well, like elliptical motion. Elliptical motion. Now, in elliptical motion, objects move in elliptical path. Objects move in elliptical path. Next, we have helical motion. What is that? Helical motion. Helical motion. If an object traces helical path, then we call the such kind of motion as helical motion. Suppose an object moves in a helical path, then we call the such kind of motion as helical motion. When charged particles are made to move in a non-uniform magnetic field, then they trace the helical path. Clear? So these are some of the types of motion. Now, apart from them, we can also classify motion into three based on the coordinate system, or based on the coordinates used to represent the motion. Let's discuss them one by one. First one is one-dimensional. One-dimensional motion, which is otherwise known as 1D motion. Otherwise known as 1D motion. What is this? Suppose there is an object under motion and it is represented by a single axis. I repeat, when the motion of an object is represented by a single coordinate, then we call such a motion as one-dimensional motion. Suppose an object is moving in a straight line, then the change in the position of the object can be easily studied with the help of x-axis or x-coordinate. Okay. Suppose another object moves upward, then we can make use of y-coordinate or y-axis to study that motion of the object. In a similar way, we can also make use of z-axis to shift the motion of an object in that particular direction. So in a one-dimensional motion, we use any one of these coordinates to study the motion. Then we have two-dimensional motion. Two-dimensional motion. What is this? If two coordinates are used to represent the motion of an object, then we call such kind of motion as two-dimensional motion. In a two-dimensional motion, we use x, y or y, z or x, z coordinates. Remember this. In simple words, we can say the motion of an object in a plane is an example of two-dimensional motion. If I have YZ plane in which an object traces a curved path, then it is an example of two-dimensional motion. For example, the motion of a coin in a carom board is referred as two-dimensional motion is said to be in two-dimensional motion. Then I'll tell you what is the three-dimensional motion. Third type is three-dimensional motion. Three-dimensional motion. The motion of an object in a space, three-dimensional space, is referred as three-dimensional motion. So when an object moves and it is represented by three coordinates, then we call such a motion as three-dimensional motion. For example, flying of kite and the flying of a bird in the sky are the example of three-dimensional motion. I hope the video is useful. If you have any kind of doubt related to the topic, kindly put your question in the comment section. Thanks for watching.